What you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you?
The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty is recorded live with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and Guilty. Patrick, I was going to introduce you in a minute, but since you're over there laughing at us, you're not thrilled to be with the
I'm
best.
always thrilled to be
the
here.
best hour of radio.
I am always thrilled.
Really.
Just happy to be existing here.
It's the coffee, right?
It's the
caffeine.
caffeine. It's the caffeine.
Oh, my goodness. Well, if you join us, thank you for joining us today for the Good, the Bad, and Guilty. And as always, you can hit us up on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. We're going to try to watch. Bill's over there watching the comments. We're on YouTube. We're on the app. We're on, what else we're on? X,
formerly known as Twitter.
So,
Yeah.
word's out. So,
WSIC.com.
there you go. And an app.
And their app.
It's all over their Facebook posts. Follow them, and hey, you can listen to the show. But once again, thank you everybody for being here. Bill, weather's perfect. Couldn't ask for no better day to be here.
I wish Joe would let us do this outside because it would be. See, Joe? Wait a minute. He's trying to find his microphone.
Yeah, he's trying to find his microphone.
Honestly, you should have asked. You should have said something beforehand.
So we really could have went out on the front porch and done
You
this
see how
outside?
long those cords are? I mean, I wouldn't have video of you, but it would be
We're on
fun.
radio.
Yeah, we're on
That's
radio.
not a bad
It'd be
thing.
fun.
Yeah, and by the looks of us, it might do us better.
I got a
Yeah.
face made for radio. That's
Yeah,
exactly
same.
right.
I know.
Well, I tell
So-
you what, it's good to be back. I know it's been a while since I've been here.
I know.
And
Same
you've been
here.
traveling and
been
busy.
traveling. It's been a
We'll
lot of
talk about
travel.
Patrick a little bit. Let's
Yeah,
talk about you for a little bit.
Yeah. So, well, hey, I tell you who we got to talk about first though is Harrison's for
Absolutely.
sponsoring the show. And they've got a thing here that I'm usually try to read, but I'm just going to say I'm going to read it, and then we're going to just brag about them a little bit because they're a great group to deal with. But
They
from
are.
the job site to the rodeo to the backyard hammock, Harrison's has you covered. They're the Southeast leader in Carhartt area workwear, and nobody has more in stock work boots, and I know that for a fact.
Big work boots.
They can get you ready to go from Western favorites like Cinch, Rock, and Roll Denim to Wrangler. Visit our Mooresville location or shop online at harrisonsusa.com. And as we always say, Bill, you and I, our sons, big feet, big-footed, whatever. And so,
Big clothes.
yeah, it takes half a cow to make them a pair of boots.
Absolutely.
So,
And this is a cool time of year that to go down to Harrison's. Just like this morning, it's, 35, 36 degrees, frost on the ground. Now it's beautiful outside in the afternoon. This is that great time of year when they've got hoodies for in the morning, sweatshirts for kind of midday, T-shirts in the afternoon. I mean, they got you covered.
hey, and I'm going to do something I had never done. Okay, y'all ready? I'm going to show Harrison, so I hope they're watching. And I'm going to lean back. Joe, if I fall out of this chair, I've actually got my Harrison pants on. My
Hey,
britches married.
you sure do, man. Those are
Hey, them-
sharp.
and so I wear them.
Those are sharp.
Don't
They
just
look
brag
good.
them. I'm a user or a client, whatever.
One of the best
Not
embroidered.
Patrick, not a you. I'm talking about of their britches, pants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the best embroidered shirts that I have for the sheriff's office came from Harrison's. It's a really lightweight summer shirt, and man, their embroidery was top notch. So if you need anything, go down and see them. They're down there across from Walmart in Mooresville, and they'll take care of you.
And I promise you this: if you're in there, you'll be in there in an hour just looking.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so much stuff to look at.
Absolutely.
So get your wish list ready. It's almost Christmas time.
Yeah, sort of.
It's getting there.
Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Hey,
Christmas tree
well,
cakes are
when
gonna
you
be coming
have
out in
kids
July,
one day,
so-
Patrick, you understand it's either birthday, it's something all the time. So,
All the time.
but either way, Bill, glad you're here. As
to be here.
always, Patrick Irwin is a sergeant with our CID division. You're also you work a little bit on. You do work a case every now and then, but
Every now and then. Yeah.
you're also on our homicide team, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you also run our drone program.
Absolutely do.
You've been responsible for writing a lot of policies used across the state, definitely across Iredell and other counties for their drone usage and policies for that because there's a lot to it. So today, the reason we want to talk a little bit about this is because we've had so many missing, we've had a lot of missing people here lately. We get a lot of, Alzheimer's, dementia patients. Sometimes they get confused that walked off.
Absolutely.
And coming out of the wintertime, with some of the extreme temperatures, it's a very valuable asset that we have. So, for one, I've got a few questions. I don't know if you've seen them yet or not. Did Bill even give you?
I've seen a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know where
I
we're going. So-
prepped him a little bit.
I'm going to wing it.
But I do want to say one thing. We do the app, and if you don't have our app, download the Iredell County Sheriff's Office app because we do have a missing person like that. Like the other night, we had a 14-year-old with some medical issues that we put out there, but we will not call. We will not wake you up late at night unless it's just an emergency. I think that's the first one we've done from the sheriff's office
In quite a while.
in a long time. But the app is real time. You'll be able to see it. It don't bombard you, and it's good information. So
Now, if you did happen to receive a text message the other night about some weather, let's clear it up. Was not the sheriff's office. I'll just leave that at that. Was not us.
no, the good people at public safety did it. I mean, it's a good thing. I think it's called Code Red, but I know I did get several, and I think you got several emails.
Several opinionated emails.
But that is not the sheriff's office. So just it's their software. I'm sure there's probably a glitch somewhere in some software for that to happen. But I did not call you about frost.
Letting everybody know there's.
Did you get the call?
I was probably asleep if it came through. So no, I don't think I actually don't think I got the call about frost. I just get the Weather Channel alerts. That's all I get.
Let's talk about some phone calls. I'm glad you brought that up. I know you were you do sit for those of you that are longtime listeners. You know the various boards that Sheriff Campbell sits on, and for those new listeners who are tuned in today, thank you very much for listening here on WSIC. But you were on a pretty I'll say influential phone call. I know you can't get into everything, but you.
I know what you're talking. Yeah, from the National Board, Executive Board of Directors. So we do get asked a lot of time for certain appointments, federal appointments, and it was a good thing one of the federal agencies, I don't want to say which one just yet because I don't know if I'm supposed to, but it was a federal agency head that's going to be a director of a well-known, obviously not Cash Patel because he's already there, but another one of the alphabet federal governments. It was good to be on the phone call, listen to him, talk to him, ask questions, and to have that. They reach out to us to ask us to do that for them to come back with a recommendation. And obviously, this individual will most likely get ours, but we just gotta make sure with the whole board.
And that was through the National Sheriff's Association.
That's through the National Sheriff's Association.
You sit on what, the board of directors and executive board for that one?
I sit on the board of directors, and I'm on the executive board of the National. There's about 12, 13 of us, I believe, from Arizona to Idaho to Florida. I can't remember where all. It's spread out throughout the country. So a lot of good guys, good to catch up with them when we do talk, and sometimes you can get your hand up fast enough to talk to them. So, but anyway.
And just real quick before we go to our first break, or maybe I can pose this question. We'll come back from break, and maybe you can answer it, and then we will get into Patrick. But for those of you that are listening, our topic today will be drones and the way that we utilize them here at the Sheriff's Office. But Sheriff, I know that you've got a lot of calls and a lot of emails at the office, and I know when we're out eating lunch and going places, you're constantly being asked about this constitutional carry.
Yes.
That is going around down in Raleigh now. And I know that a lot of people may have some questions. And one of the ones that I was with you the other day, the gentleman said, so it's passed. So has that passed yet?
We have had a lot of questions, and no, it has not passed yet. I believe the Senate is the one that passed.
I know the House passed their version.
Well, I don't think it's actually went to committee, so I don't know if it's got on the floor yet. But I do know that far as being law ratified by it has not happened yet. And basically, what it does is the concealed carry permit that you come and get now. The concealed carry is at the office or through the app or whichever way you obtain it. It's going to replace that. Now, you will have the opportunity to continue to get your concealed carry. And why is that important?
Let's hold that thought. We got about 10 seconds left before we go to break. So when we come back, we're going to let you answer that, and then we'll get into.
I think if we Bill, we can close like. That means
Bill.
Got the bell and everything.
Get in trouble. We'll be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Joe, you got some peppy music on there, buddy. I like that.
Well, if you told him was listening out of an earphone trying to hear it, because I really couldn't tell what it was. I'm just kidding, Joe. You got a fine setup here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again, and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty here on WSIC. Thank you so much for taking your time this afternoon to tune in and listen to the goings-on of the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Got Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell, Detective Sergeant Patrick Irwin, and my name is Bill Hamby. I have the pleasure of being one of the two chief deputies here at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. And as we were getting ready to go to break, Sheriff, I asked you a question. I know you're getting a lot of questions about it, and I thought it would be just a good time to let our listeners know, in case they were wondering or if it's something new to them, about the new constitutional carry here in North Carolina. And you were just getting ready to answer, and we didn't have enough time to get in, so I want to make sure our listeners get the answer. But let me pose a question to you: is how will it change? How will constitutional carry change between getting the permit system and the way that the bill is intended? So the difference between what we had and what they want to go to.
You wouldn't give me a hot button question.
Oh, no, sir, not at all.
Oh, let's test Patrick. Would you like to answer that?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. No. Obviously, basically, in a lot of forms, what you see where you have to have a constitutional carry now, what you have to have is a purchase or a concealed carry handgun permit now will go away. Okay, first. But we still will have the handgun permits, and the reason that's good, for one, you'll have your number assigned to you, which will speed you along in the background from an FFL dealer, because you got to be 21 to purchase from an FFL dealer. 18,
or federal firearms licensed dealer.
Yes, thank you. And 18 for a private sale. So that's important to remember. So even an 18-year-old can purchase a purchase permit, which will fall underneath this constitutional carry. So, but basically, everywhere you've seen the purchase permit now will basically be repealed, eliminated, like it never happened.
So North Carolina has done away with the pistol purchase permit a couple years ago.
They did that a couple years ago. We spoke about that, and here's some of the things that even then, if you rewind or watch some of our old shows, I was always concerned about a gun registry, a federal gun registry. Well, now, of course, 2 years about after that, I believe it was March, 2 years ago, this past March, right around it, give or take. But when you see some of the DV orders, when we have to do seizures for domestic violence, and then there's legislation to, if you say Bill or Patrick, if we're going to do a private sale, Patrick, you can sell me a gun now, and the purchase permit would usually force the sheriff, me or us, to do the background to protect you as a seller, or as a seller, and it sort of protect the buyer a little bit. That will go away, and some of the legislation I've seen is asking you to take it to an FFL dealer to do this transaction. Okay, they are going to do it through ATF forms, which in general, will be a gun registry. And that was some of the things, even DVO orders now that I was saying, they're asking now for those DVO orders to be stored. If we have to do a gun seizure, if we're required by court order, to some versions are that you have to store them with a federally firearm dealer license versus us locking up in evidence.
And you would have to pay the dealer, if I'm not mistaken.
There's certain costs that can be recovered, but the biggest thing is, don't think for 2 seconds in that bill there's not something with gun registration who, before you get them back, they will be serial numbers and things recorded. I've said that. I said it to our legislators last time. We've had this conversation. The repeal of the purchase permit was not good for gun rights overall, no matter which way it was sold. I still think it's I'm not so much worried about the safety of it. It's just the protection of mostly of the sellers, because you have no idea who you're selling to, Patrick. If I'm selling to you and you're a felon, then you're using a crime, then, hey, where's the court cases that insulate me as a seller?
Absolutely.
That's some concerns. So does that sort of answer?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And one of the things that you said, Sheriff, brings up some concerns. I know that, and there again, you have voiced these concerns. And
I'm all about gun
it's
rights.
It's almost like you're getting something that's too good to be true, where they're giving you a little bit, but if you don't read down into the fine print like you do, or research and talk to the attorneys that you and the other sheriffs through the Sheriff's Association talk to find out that, oh yeah, I don't have to have this, but to sell I have to go over here, and on this form over here that's going to the federal government, you'll have to have the model, the make, the serial number registered to you, instead of what North Carolina does now, which we don't register guns.
And we do. That's a great point. We do not have a gun registry in North Carolina. So here's my thing, and I was always concerned later, take Biden, Obama, Bush, whoever, Trump in the White House. I'm more concerned, what if a president comes in next time and says, okay, you're not going to possess a .308 caliber. You're not going to possess a .243.
And all that's already on file.
Yep.
And yes, and are you going to be able to purchase? It gets to be, it's a snowball effect. It's I don't know. I knew when that started there was going to be issues, not so much with the repeal, which was not the best, but the registry coming forward, and now it's 2 years, and you're starting to see life in that, and that's going to be a beast to overcome. Because Patrick, if we got to go to FFL and you got something, and there again, if it's a stolen gun, and there's a victim, it should be recovered.
Absolutely.
But everybody's going to know, federal government know what you own, and that record will stay.
And kind of while we're on it, Sheriff, and I know we're here talking about Patrick and our drones, but you did bring up
I don't know how we got the guns, but
explain to our listeners, and there again, who maybe haven't heard of this topic, thought about the topic, or maybe our new listeners, explain to them just how easy it is to get in touch with somebody in the FBI in West Virginia if something screws up on a federal form.
what you're talking about, and I do have this call, is basically if you go to a FFL and you get a NICS, which is a National Instant Criminal Background Check. It's one that was supposed to take in mental health records, digitize them, and be a fast way to get an answer. Can you possess? And sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it takes a little bit. The problem we've run into, and we have several here in Iredell, where their name have, not the identity theft, no means would ever be a problem. But somebody may use your ID. Somebody may have had, or maybe just your name and date of birth. They could have been scamming, use it, and you get a ticket. You don't take care of it, or you get charged with simple assault, and then you get flagged, and you no longer can purchase from an FFL, and they'll give you, okay, well, you do this appeals process, and you're right, it's ran by the Federal Bureau of Investigation out of West Virginia. Good luck calling somebody up on the phone and say, hey, I understand your plight. Let me make that right for you. So
to where everything should have been localized, where they could appeal to you as the sheriff, or any sheriff, not just you, but any sheriff in North Carolina, or they could appeal it directly to Superior Court in the county that they live in and present that evidence to get it fixed. Now they have to
which is the way it was.
Which is the way it was, and it was great. And the few appeals that actually worked that way, I know you were able to help people pretty much day of. We found the problem and it was fixed by 5 o'clock. But now, sometimes you get what you wish for.
It's gonna be something to see how it goes forward. But we have a lot of people that should be good law abiding citizens, should be able to purchase guns without question, and they're being held up by the federal government. I mean, that's just a blunt way to say it. So
enough about guns. Let's talk about Patrick.
I like guns.
I like guns too.
Yeah.
What is it you said? If you can get one,
if you carry one, carry three.
There you go.
Three.
Hey, we ain't got a gun between us
We've gone
except
up to
Patrick.
3 today.
Just me.
Well, Joe's back there with some kind of slingshot or something.
He probably got some nunchucks or something. So, but we do. But before we end, let's hear this. We've got legislators that do listen to us. Vicky Sawyer's great to listen to. Todd Carver's going to be great.
Yep.
When there's a lot of stuff, Gray was great. Jeff's reached out a little bit, but that's sometimes you got the Raleigh politics that play into it, and it's just one of those things. But we're very pro, because I've told y'all, and I've said it, and I've heard it used. And Bill, you know what I'm going to say. What stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And we said
Absolutely.
that, and that's been
girl.
used. Or a good girl, yeah. Good girl, yeah, absolutely. So, except I get in trouble, my wife says good girl, because that's what I tell her when she's on an aggravator. I said, good girl.
Yeah.
So she get, my wife.
You may need a drone at your house. Yeah,
I know, we better move on to
So
drones.
about these
Hey, Patrick,
drones.
so while we're here, and of course we talked about guns, so it looks like that's going to go to the next segment. But, hey, Bill, do you want to hit up maybe our press releases first? Or you want to go straight into drones and then finish press
Let's
release?
talk about drones, because there's a lot of important stuff. I do want to hit 2 things before the end of the show, but we got a while yet. But, as you said, Sheriff, getting into it, and Patrick, kind of a way of introducing you. I know that you've jumped in the drone program with both feet.
Since 2018.
And have actually written lesson plans and policies for other agencies and the North Carolina Justice Academy here in North Carolina. So just take a few seconds, introduce yourself, and then we got a whole bunch
let's hear the way you did in your first
questions
interview
for
when I
you.
hired you. Brag about yourself.
Yeah, for some reason, I still don't remember this interview that you keep bringing up. I don't remember it. So if you want to enlighten the
No,
listeners,
but
it's all you.
real quick, Bill, just to let you know, when he come in, he basically come in for an interview, and he says, I'm the best thing for law. You're going to be
actually never
happy
said
if you
that.
hire me.
Never said that.
Then I said, and then he goes, I'm the best
the
thing.
fifth.
And I said, would you mind working in detention? Absolutely, yes, sir.
And there
Here
he
he
is.
is. For all
Did start
those-
in detention, though.
You've been
And
a role model for hey, I started in detention.
I love detention. I thought it was fun.
And that's hard work over there.
It is very hard work. And I was on straight night shift too, so 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single night in the jail. Best part about that, all the inmates were sleeping most of the time I was there.
And you were too, for the most part.
You didn't turn the air
I
conditioning
would
down,
never
did you?
do that. I would never do that.
No, you can't do that. In the
Pod control.
old days.
Old pod control.
Old
That's
pod
where I
control,
was.
that's right. So, all right.
Well, tell us about
enough
a drone
reminiscing.
program, Patrick.
Hey, a lot of them, Pat. Just explain yourself, and then how many we have. Go into it.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm Patrick Irwin. Been with the sheriff's office since 2013. 2018 was really the start of our drone program. I remember Darren coming to me while I was just sitting in my office working on case notes and asked me about drones. I was like, Sure. I've never flown a drone in my life, but
It was new technology. I mean,
it was. It was. I think the West Coast was really the ones utilizing it first, like a long time ago. But the technology has grown so much since then. I think at the time that we started our drone program, there was maybe only 2 other agencies in the state that had drones, and that would have been at the coast and in the mountains. But they were using the small little drones that you can go buy at Best Buy. We actually invested with our asset forfeiture money and bought
which we call it.
drug dealer money.
That's
drug
right.
dealer money.
Y'all learning,
Yeah, we're learning.
but that's right.
So yeah, that was our first purchase. Was that system, which had thermal imaging, a zoom camera, increased flight time, things like that. That could withstand winds up to 55 miles an hour if it needed to.
And not only units talking, and we'll get into this, but one of the first things I remember was when Western Avenue, was it West over there off of
Western
Boulevard
Avenue,
that burned,
the original Western Avenue,
and they couldn't go in
Baptist
because
Church.
of the hot spots, and you was able to fly the drone and see the hot spots.
Yep, we were
then
actually
I knew,
able to take it up there and see where all the hot spots were and relay that down to the fire.
so they wouldn't go in and have a wall follow them or walk in. So I mean, there's so many different uses for it. But
I think one of the first major uses that we actually had it for was when Alexander County had an escapee. And we went up there to fly. That was one of the first times I think that we used it.
I wish we had a way to show that video, but we can't. We might put that on.
And
there.
let's talk about that when we come back, because we got about 20 seconds. Time is flying today. We got some good stuff going, but we'll be back in about 15 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise we will get into the drone program.
We've been talking about it 30 minutes.
It's
Bill.
a lot of good information dealing with the program. We'll see you in about 2 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Ding, ding.
welcome back to the Good, the Bad, and Guilty. As always, comment on Facebook.
I
We
got
got
a
it
comment.
up.
I got a comment.
Well, hold on. You ain't commenting yet.
I got a comment.
Nope, can't yet. I was just sitting there. Well, first of all, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, WSIC app. Please don't forget our sponsor, Harrison's. They would love your business, love to come see you,
They do a
or
great
love
job.
for you to come see them. But I was just thinking, Bill, we're on here in the microphone playing like a bunch of kids, but I didn't even think about Joe's listening the whole time we're doing it. Joe, did you have to listen to us do that?
Did I have to or did I choose to?
You wanted to.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, you loved it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just
I
wondering.
feel like I should be allowed to unmute you guys and put you
Joe,
back on camera
how
if
about
it's
we
good
do this?
content.
Sing along with the sheriff.
We
I'm not doing it. I had not.
sheriff go
You
down
was doing a
to
good job
Well,
during break.
Patrick was too. Was doing the Beverly Hillbillies and Gilligan's Island,
Gilligan's Island.
like a bunch of kids.
Sound of silence and all sorts of things.
You started singing.
Hey, let's
Sound of
talk about our
Silence.
drone.
Yeah, let's
program.
get.
That's
We
why our
finally got to
listeners are
cover
here.
that. And Joe, I don't know if it matters, but our stopwatch hadn't started, so we'll use. Okay, just point at us. So Patrick,
All right.
Yes, sir.
you was right in the middle of it before we had to go to our break, or
Yeah, so like I said, the first big time we ever used it was that escapee that we had from Alexander County. We assisted the other county, Alexander County, with tracking him down. He ended up getting located underneath a mobile home, I think.
and one reason we invested in a drone, if you remember, whose prisoner it was?
Hours.
Our prisoner, because we was out of county housing, and they let one of our prisoners escape in Alexander. So
Yep. I do remember that actually now. But we've since then, I mean, I couldn't even tell you, I don't have the direct paperwork in front of me since 2018, but how many flights we've actually done.
Well,
But I know last year-
Thank you for asking, Patrick, because I have last year's numbers.
Yeah.
And when I really looked at it in this context today, I was like, I know you guys are busy, but doggone.
Yeah.
Last year, y'all flew 170 missions in 2024.
And that's not not
you gotta
including
remember-
the training.
And according to my math, that's 3 operations a week. that
well, we got to
our
throw off
drones
the other
working.
pilots because we've got a couple.
We have 4 total pilots right now. including
Who's your
me.
pilots now?
So-
They serve all full time positions, and then they went to get certified.
So it was me, Justin Carroll. He's another one of our detectives. We have Robert Ball, who's on the ACE team. Mm-hmm. And then we have Deputy Blair Von Lickman, who also is on the CERT team.
Say that 3 times, but yes.
Yeah, he's
I think
also
Blair's been on radio with
he's down in the cops unit. He's
Yeah.
actually our newest member, and he's already. I already saw a picture of him on Facebook recently. Him out just flying the drone around, showing the kids how to utilize
kids.
it.
Do love that stuff.
Oh, they absolutely do.
So you bring up, Sheriff, you brought a good point, and I think you started to answer it, Patrick. So to be officially certifiable to fly for a governmental agency, what does that process look like? It's not like we just go buy a drone and go, here, Patrick, it's yours to fly. What is that process to be able to fly these drones for a government agency?
You have to have an actual license. So it's what it's called as a Part 107 license. You actually have to go take an FAA mandated test, pass that test, and then we do courses with ours. So we've done online courses, but we've sent a lot of our guys to courses at Mitchell Community College, other community colleges around that offer these prep classes for taking the Part 107 test. So a Part 107 test is pretty similar to taking your regular pilot's license test. It's just a few less questions. But in that test, they ask you about weather, airspace, remote ID, different types of situations that you would get into if you're flying a drone, who has right of way.
When
things like
when we're
that.
out on search, that's one thing I always ask them. You do know where the airport's at, right?
Always got to know where the airport's at. Always got to know where the restricted airspace is. Luckily, here in Iredell County, we don't have a lot of restricted airspace. We do have a couple airports. I know Lake Norman Airport's not a manned airport. It doesn't have a tower, but I know Statesville does. So if we do got to fly somewhere near Statesville Airport, we actually have to call the tower and let them know and get authorization from them.
You go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, just so our listeners aren't worried about us flying everywhere all the time. One, we have to have a legitimate reason to fly.
Absolutely.
And 2, for some of the investigative purposes that we use our drones for, we also have to have search warrants and things, court orders like that. So maybe touch base a little bit on that, and then we go into a few more of the scenarios that we've had that we've utilized the drone.
Absolutely. A lot of people's main concern with drones is privacy. We can't just go fly a drone over somebody's house and watch them. We actually have to have a reason to be there. We have to have a search warrant. To get a search warrant, you have to have probable cause.
Which wasn't always the case. The bad guys were always ahead of the court, so we're sort of behind. So we get search warrants because used to, if you had a grow inside of a house, you use thermal imaging, and then obviously that changed. And
Yep. But I mean, if we're conducting surveillance on any kind of house that we don't have exigent circumstances, or there's an emergency for us to be there, like for instance, when we were down on Langtree this past year, the standoff, we were orbiting the entire time with the drone. But that was an exigent circumstance. So
and I got a question that's everybody probably out there listening is thinking this: what if some drone that I don't know flies over my house? Can I shoot it?
no, absolutely not.
And why?
Well,
and I'm not saying your drone, but I'm talking about any drone in general.
So I've been getting a lot of calls about this recently too. Is hey, there's a drone flying over my house. It's just flying back and forth from my house, like they're invading my privacy. And I was like, well, you don't really own the airspace above your house. There's been a lot of arguments that people think that they own airspace above their house. You can buy airspace rights over your house. I just don't know how expensive that is and anything like that. But you actually don't own the airspace above your house. We usually give them to the tops of the trees. If somebody is flying a drone and looking into your windows, then we got a problem.
And then that's
Then
a
we
legit,
And I think that's
a
what
legit
we're talking
problem.
about.
Yeah.
Because we've been having a lot of calls lately of it going at night. Now I actually witnessed what it was, what I'd seen, big lights, but there were planes doing stall training
Stall training, yeah.
at night, and I did not know that. They'll have a certain location they'll do stall training. Well, you'll hear them in the distance. Well, then by the time and the lights was green, red, just like what your drones are, and I actually thought it was a drone, but it was stall training.
Yep.
And didn't know that. So that's a lot of the what people are seeing is doing, and they've been doing a lot of it lately just because low humidity and things of that nature from what I hear in the temperatures.
Well, and if you shoot down a drone, no matter if it's the sheriff's office, whether it's somebody's personal drone, anything like that, not only are you facing state charges with damage to property, you're also possibly looking at federal charges.
And we did have a guy with a .22 rifle shoot your drone.
He did. It was
was a great shot.
It was a
Great
great shot. I mean, I was about 380 feet in the air, and one shot to the battery took it right out.
With a .22 rifle.
With a
no
22
scope.
rifle, iron sights. Yep.
But let's make sure that our listeners hear the potential problem if you shoot a drone down. Let's say that one more time clearly. It is a what kind of crime and what kind of crime?
You got the state side with damage to property, which that person is being charged with right now. It's going through court. But then once the state side is done, all you got to do is call the FAA and they will make it a federal case because it carries the same weight as if you shoot at a manned aircraft.
So, folks, please don't shoot at drones.
not
Give
shoot
us a call. Give the police department a call if you're in the city limits. Don't go. Plus, if you shoot at the drone, it's up in the air and you miss it. Now we got bullets flying, falling down other places. So, just a few minutes, Patrick, that we have left. One of the ones that I remember, Sheriff, and I know that you do too. We used our drone to do what we call an overwatch of our CERT team or our SWAT team when they responded to a home here inside the city limits of Statesville. And you were hovering over it when the CERT team hit the front door. And as the officers flood in, the bad guy goes out on the back deck and takes a softball size full of cocaine and throws it out into woods.
Yep.
And then all you had to do was pick up the phone and go, guys, it's not in the house, it's in the backyard.
Yeah, it's in the backyard.
And they were able to go back there and get it. To whereas back in the day, Sheriff, we might not
Well, I
have been
think he
able
even
to
put
get
it in
that.
an old softball hole or something. I know
No, it was the first time we ever utilized the drone for a search warrant. It was a narcotic search warrant. I literally was following the CERT team as they were going to hit the house. Got to the house, you could see the guy on the back porch just clear as day, just throw it out in the yard.
Throw the drug.
And then
Nobody
one of our
recovered it.
detectives, just all I had to tell him was like, go check that backyard near that dog house or something.
We got about 30 seconds before we go to our next break. But when we come back, Patrick, Sheriff, if you're good with it, maybe talk about how we integrate the drones with our lake patrol.
Absolutely.
And assist them in some of their operations down there. And then we've got a few press releases to get into before the end of the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll indulge us enough to go to another break, we'll be back in about 2 minutes here at WSIC for the good, the bad, the guilty, and continue talking about our drone program. Joe, I've been gone 2 or 3 weeks, dude, and you still remember my Alfred Hitchcock music. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for spending time with us today at The Good, the Bad, the Guilty here at WSIC. We are talking about our drone program. We've covered a lot of ground today, but in our final segment, we are going to try to dial in on a few things with our drone program. But if we've learned a few things today, Sheriff has still got his fingers on the pulse of the constitutional carry going on down in Raleigh with our legislators.
Don't shoot down drones.
We really can't carry a tune in a bucket when we're off the air.
No.
And don't shoot drones.
That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
And you're going to get me divorced if you don't quit telling my wife what I said.
Indeed. So, Patrick, wow. Yeah. How do you segue that? So let's talk about drownings.
Well, I'm kidding. Hey, and before we do, first of all, got to our comments. I did see Jacob Dyson comment.
Of course, Jacob commented.
Jacob is a former retiree.
Did he wake up enough from his afternoon nap to watch?
And you know what? He is one of our retirees. How long has he been retired? He was your supervisor, actually.
He was a lieutenant over criminal
and
investigations.
he's regretting retirement. Wish he hadn't left. I know.
Still,
and I'm sure he's listening.
He still
now.
meanders around the office every now and then.
It's because he misses us.
He does. We love him, Jacob. We love Jacob, though.
Yeah,
you can hear me, Jacob. We love you.
So,
I'm sure he's going to call me.
Oh, he's listening.
But I want to talk, well, Bill, why are you talking about that? But I want to talk about the cool part of the drones and stuff is also not just the FLIR, the thermal imaging, the zoom capabilities, is also, say, we can be across the country, anywhere we have access to internet. If Patrick is flying or any of the operators are flying our drone, they can real time down to our cell phones or iPads, and we can watch what's happening.
Yeah, I worked real hard to get that, try to find a software that really helps us with what we want. And I know one of the biggest things that I wanted, to be honest with you, when I'm sitting there flying the drone on a mission, I can't stand people over my shoulder.
And that would be me and Bill.
Yeah, and that's okay.
He won't let us fly it. He won't let us touch the buttons.
I've told you could fly it, and you continue to refuse.
But you know, one of the cool things.
I did that one time to rescue.
You did that one time. Yeah,
this software, Patrick, that you do talk about in all seriousness. And one of the things that we have coming for those folks that may not know is we have a mobile command unit that should be delivered here to the sheriff's office shortly. That was also through some appropriations from down in Raleigh. But the ability to live stream that drone footage into a mobile command vehicle, so that if, God forbid, anything significant or major does go on, we have those capabilities that we can command and control law enforcement, fire, EMS, rescue off a drone that you don't even have to be on site for, because you can fly that thing remotely. So,
well, and one thing that I'm hoping for is, I know that we've talked about getting robots, things like that for high risk situations with our CERT team and everything like that. So just kind of make everything into like an unmanned unit, to where we have robots that can live stream straight to the mobile command. I mean, we have an ROV down in Lake Norman.
We do, and it's just, if you didn't see it, you can go on our Facebook page and look at them guys' underwater capability. And you know, you hate to say it, we have to invest in technology to be here, because I'm just going to say, if we didn't learn anything, the mobile command bus we haven't built come from General Assembly appropriations, so it didn't cost our, the way my math, there's 100 counties, that's one penny Iredell paid for the huge benefit out of the state. But you know, so Pat, let me ask this: if you was at the command bus and we had Hurricane Helena come through again, just search and rescue, because you do search and rescue, we do missing juveniles, people with mental issues, fleeing suspect. Can you launch that thing? Actually do surveillance? I mean, we're talking miles around that it can circulate, but could it come right back to the command bus and land right there?
Absolutely.
And we're still able to see everything real time.
Absolutely. The technology is crazy with the GPS. That thing will connect to 20 to 30 satellites and really pinpoint. You can set the home point on that thing, wherever the remote is, or I can set it at the mobile command center, and I can be 20 yards away.
And you know, with the new command bus, we'll be able to actually project stuff and have TVs on the outside where actually a family member could see a rescue if we had to.
Well, the technology is moving so fast that they're starting to implement drones as first responders in some cities, where drones are actually being deployed.
Well, they're even answering for calls.
Calls, exactly, and it's cutting down on call time. I think it'd be very difficult to do it in our county. We're
too big
with how much space. We'd probably need about 40 to 60.
Okay, moving on.
60 of them.
Yeah,
one of the really neat things, and I know I do give you a hard time about flying a drone and some of the stuff you do, but I think one of the most impactful missions that you flew was when you were able to go down and identify, unfortunately, a drowning victim.
Yeah.
A couple years ago down in Lake Norman that had drowned, and I knew our boats were there. Other fire rescue boats were out in the area. They were talking about putting divers in the water. Sheriff, you've already talked about the dangers of putting divers in the water.
Absolutely.
But you were able to launch our drone, and within a matter of minutes, you were able to locate the victim and to drop a buoy to direct assets to that location. So, one, it saved officers or deputies or firemen. Two, we were able to recover that victim much quicker than potentially we would have been able to. So, one, it got everybody out of the water, victim included, and it kind of gave the victim's family some solace to know that victim had been recovered. So
Absolutely.
When
Yeah.
you think about it, we
critical.
were probably 30 miles away. It's down at Lake Davidson, I believe, is where
Yeah,
it was at.
it was just at Davidson Lake campus.
Okay, but I remember him streaming to our phones or iPad, and we were able to watch it, and we was able to see the body before even the other first responders in a boat
yes.
30 foot away could see it. So
And I was able to just fly the drone basically right over top of the body and be like, that's where she is, and walked them right into him.
Yeah.
But yeah, on those search and rescue missions, I mean, that when somebody goes missing in the lake, sometimes it can take hours, sometimes it can take days until we.
Well, you know,
until we
there's
find them.
the old days of helicopters. Yes, we do have access to those under certain circumstances. It's hard to get helicopters.
It is,
It really is.
and-
And the drones have took such a lead in that, or a role in that, I guess.
I mean,
And it's so cost effective.
it's very cost effective, and that's the thing about it is you can spend a minimum $5,000 a day, $5,000 a day for a helicopter. I mean, that's
it's
just a
more.
very bare
That's
minimum.
bare
That's
minimum.
bare minimum. Versus, okay, we purchased these drones for 14. I believe it was 14,000 of asset forfeiture money. So not a taxpayer dime was spent on these. And that thing can be up in 5 minutes whenever I get on scene. Within 5 minutes, it can be up flying, looking around.
Well, if you're looking, just like on Lake missing boaters, and I know we get a lot of that, but you have somebody that's foggy and it's raining, you can put that thing up and just
With that FLIR imaging,
you can see them all the way
Yeah.
across the lake. So
Well, and that's one of the things also, talk about working in conjunction. And I know we've already talked about doing our high-risk search warrants or going out and searching for suspects. But especially at night, you're able to switch that some of the thermal imaging cameras on the drone, and then our people on the ground have the infrared beacons.
they've got IR beacons.
So if we see somebody running through the woods and they're not flashing,
We know
that's a suspect, or somebody
That's
we need
somebody
to
we're
check
looking
out.
for, yep.
And there again, it's
Absolutely.
just the amazing amount of security, safety, forward-thinking sheriff, and we got to give you kudos for you kind of getting this thing started. Patrick, give you kudos for jumping on this program, learning it, making it what it is now, to where we're one of the bigger drone units in sheriff's offices across the state of North Carolina.
I think I always want us to be ahead. We want to try to be ahead. I want to be a trendsetter versus a follower. I think proactive versus reactive, and the technology we have in place for us, the ROV at the lake, SWAT team. We need, just like when we didn't need the Bearcat, then we needed it. So. Patrick, thank you for coming today.
course.
I appreciate
Thanks
it,
for
Bill. I
having
know
me.
you've got a few press releases before we
I've
wrap
got
it
one
up.
very important release, Sheriff. Before we
Before we
leave.
move on, just let everybody know if you'd like a drone demonstration, call us. Patrick, you can email us. We'll be glad to come out and show you
Absolutely. I
group.
go to
So
churches, I go to schools, I do
Absolutely.
the Citizens Academy,
Yep, absolute Teen Academy. all
absolutely,
that
Teen
stuff.
Academy, all of it.
But one of the things that I do want, and we've released this information today, Sheriff. I know we've done a couple in the past, but I want all our listeners to know that if you're interested in getting a free in-person training for the active shooter response, which is where one of the things that we teach here at the Sheriff's Office, been one of our bigger classes, we're getting that out. We're going to have an in-person class on Thursday, May the 8th, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Iredell County Agricultural Center at 444 Bristol Drive. It is up on our Facebook page. There is a QR code. The first time that we put on one of these classes, Sheriff, I know you and I were there. I
We about
kind
had
of
a stroke,
coordinated.
about 300 people.
And people kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And about halfway through the presentation, you looked over at me and you said, "Is a fire marshal here?" And I went, "No, thank God."
So we invited him next time.
So the
gonna
second
make
time
him
we didn't
guilty.
have 300 people, we invited the fire marshal so he wouldn't throw us out of the building. But our space is limited. We could take a couple hundred people. We'd love to have you there. So again, it's going to be Thursday, May the 8th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Ag Center. This training is crucial for schools, churches, businesses, and everyday citizens who want to remain and become informed and empowered on how to face the unexpected danger of an active shooter. We give you lots of information, the legal side, the insurance side, And it kind of works in conjunction, Sheriff, in the way you've had us design it is we have the active shooter class, and then we have like a church or a business security class, and they kind of dovetail together. So really cool concept.
And I hate we got to do it. It's just one of those things we need to be prepared for. We started years ago. We've done it. We do it in our teen academy. Actually, the kids talking about schools. We work well with the ISS or Iredell Statesville schools, and so
Citizens Academy enjoyed it the other
and
night.
churches. Constantly when you turn on the news, I hate to see it. Knock on wood, and it don't happen again. But we do need to be prepared. At least have there's a lot of questions, especially in churches. What happens to your older people? Who's protecting the nursery? The best evacuation routes. There's a lot of different things that can help you survive an active shooter. Heaven forbid if it ever happened to you. So.
Absolutely. So again, if you're interested in this class, please go to our Facebook page. There is a QR code there, so that if you're interested, you can go ahead and register. And one of our press releases, Sheriff, and you did talk about it. Some of our remote operated vehicles. Down on Lake Norman, 'tis the season, unfortunately, for incidents and things. But if you want to see what our underwater drones look like, or ROVs look like, go to our Facebook page. We had it up last week. Our Lake Patrol deputies and some of our SROs that use that equipment in the summertime, we're getting refreshers and training on that. So a lot of cool things going on at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. We're very excited about some of our programs that are coming down the pipe that we're putting all the bells and whistles on to announce to our public. So.
Keep
Patrick,
up.
thanks
Follow
for
us.
coming.
Absolutely.
Follow
Thanks
us,
for having me.
Get the app. You can keep up with us a lot of good
Absolutely.
information. Yes, Patrick, thank you very much for coming.
Anytime.
Sure, you got to go back and solve some crime.
Absolutely.
Or at least drive
Who's in
home.
charge while you're gone?
Lieutenant Adam Blackburn.
I know, Bill, I'm in
And
trouble. Just
Captain
let you know,
Julie
I got this little thing on Facebook
Troy.
that says Stacy was watching.
Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much today for tuning in to Good, the Bad, the Guilty. We'll see you next week. Everybody have a good week, and thanks for listening.
Thank you.